As the players have already finished up their vetoes and we are diving in to our next series.
Back at a familiar side, Glittering Ashes once again. And how about I intro the player in the bottom left here? We have playing for Team Super, the number one player on the ladder at the moment in NA. It is the formidable Protoss TriGGeR.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Glittering Ashes LE, we have the American Terran player himself representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Vindicta.
Yeah, and we do see an SCV coming out very early, so considering the early SCV and the racks going down, this does look like an eBay block coming out from Vindicta here.
Okay, as we do see, SCV is actually avoiding the pathing of that initial probe scout, sneaking past it and getting towards that natural base. So yeah, an interesting move here by Vindicta. To go for something like this. How do you feel about going for an eBay block as opposed to something like, I don't know, like the bunker that we saw in the previous game?
Yeah, I really like the eBay block just as a way to throw off your opponent, especially this is best case scenario here. It hasn't been seen at all. It's going to get a lot of health on it, so just throwing the Protoss off their game plan in the early game can be really beneficial for you. Vindicta was actually talking about this on his stream earlier today, that it can be really nice to like have the game on your terms against a Protoss player. When you give them everything that they want and you're reacting, it can be very difficult.
Oh yeah. As a StarCraft player, I know that full too well. All too well, man. All too well. Oh god. But we do see that he does end up forcing TriGGeR to go for the unnatural natural, so very ZVP-esque. But yeah, there are some players who they're forced to just delay their natural instead. But TriGGeR, he's more than willing to just take a different one.
Yeah, absolutely. Like with so much health on the eBay here, I think this is actually the only real choice that you have. So once that eBay is reaching 3/4 sort of thing, if you don't have a Zealot on the way, this is probably your only option to not be behind. But it is pretty awkward. Like if we see something like a reactor first opening, which we do see out of Vindicta, he could be doing some kind of Hellion pressure, which can make it very difficult to defend these two bases being so far away from each other.
Yeah, this mineral line is going to be so exposed. It's going to be a little bit awkward to get SimCity here at the natural base as well, that natural choke point to deny entry from those Hellions. So I 100% agree. I do think there's a lot of potential with that.
Yeah, really nice scout there with the SCV, just getting full use out of that. Does see the Twilight Council starting up, and he should have a fairly good idea that he's up against some kind of blue build here. Or DD.
Or DTs, we'll see. As it looks like he is going for the add-on swap, so he is going to be pumping out those Hellions as soon as possible. Even has a starport on the way. We'll see if he even tries to incorporate some kind of drop as well, if he does try that. But yeah. I'm also curious to see if TriGGeR will even attempt to wall off here despite not having a base.
Yeah, we do see the double Hellion started up, and yeah, as you're referring to, there isn't really a way that you can wall off here, which is why the Hellions are so strong in this situation. We are seeing a bit of a Marine move out as well, maybe just hoping to catch one of the first gateway units coming across the map. Another clever play. Little intricacies of these openings for both players. So yeah, really cool to see how this one's going to shape up.
Definitely. There we go. The Paladin is thrown down here for TriGGeR. So again, he's fully aware of trying to defend this kind of location. He's splitting up his Stalkers, and mate, we have Banshees.
Yeah, we see Banshee Cloak, another really cool way to abuse the situation here. With the close airspace between these two bases, he can bounce between, but meanwhile, we are seeing pretty good defensive from TriGGeR. Manages to keep the Hellions off the probes until now, and only 4 probes going down. This is, yeah, a really good situation for him.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of potential there, but with the body blocking here by those probes, with immediately the reaction time as well, TriGGeR, he minimizes as many losses as possible. But again, it's still a 1-2 punch. Vindicta does still have something else up his sleeve.
Yeah, and he sees the Robo as well, so he's not going to be caught off guard by this Observer. He knows what's up. And yeah, with the with the empty space in between the main and the third here as well, this is a really good map for air harass.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. The first Banshee's already on the way, second one behind this as well. That observer is not going to be quite in position, but we have a second observer coming out here for TriGGeR, so he will have detection. Whether or not it's in position, whether or not it's at home, well, yet to see.
He dots his I's, crosses his T's, he will be ready for this, and putting it in the dead space here, there's a good chance that he does see this Banshee moving out if it does choose to go for the main. But we do have Vindicta actually banking for the 2 Banshees. Very cool.
Yeah. Both Banshees are going to be banking up here towards the bottom right-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, TriGGeR goes across to try and get a bit of a scout off. Should be confirming the location of these tanks and the rest of the Marines as well. As TriGGeR is responding in a more standard fashion, is looking to go towards those Colossi.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can see what this weird opening has brought for Vindicta. The game is a little bit more on his terms. There hasn't really been any pressure on his side of the map, and he has been able to, get all these pieces of a normal development together with his own harassment options ready.
Yeah, exactly. A nice change of pace here of TVP. Meanwhile, those 2 Banshees are looking to sneak into that natural base. Sure, we have a Stalker, but the Banshees are cloaked, and we have a full Mineral Lion.
Yeah, beautiful timing here. He's going to get heaps of damage with that Observer out of position, and we do possibly see, I think that should be a recall on the Observer as well as the Stalkers.
Oh, actually,
no Observer.
Only the Stalker, so he fakes out his opponent a little bit here, but we do have the Observer coming in from that dead space, and in the end, 10 workers go down, but both Banshees are still alive. Oh!
Yeah, maybe a little bit greedy going for the Stalker there, but you can see the advantage of this map, where you can get these Banshees out quite easily while bouncing between all these different bases. So yeah, that small advantage that he got with the eBay at the start of the game, adding up to all these different harassment opportunities. Really cool.
Yeah, and again, because these Banshees are still alive, they can still pose a threat, they can still dip in and deal some damage as well. A little bit of multi-prong if TriGGeR is ever has his attention elsewhere. Meanwhile, Observer even gets sniped, so it's going to be that much more difficult for TriGGeR to see an army move out, but he does have his Stalkers here in the middle of the map just in case.
Yeah, beautiful job there from Vindicta, sniffing out that TriGGeR did know where his army was, so there must be an Observer nearby. Also, those 3 probes that were on Smoko in the bottom left-hand corner have gone back to work. Very good.
And meanwhile, the Reaper from the start of the game gets in and gets a probe kill, 2 probes.
Yeah, Janai's heaps of mining time and the 2 probe kills. Really nice. Just so much harassment coming out here from Vindicta. And yeah, like, you can see when the game's on his terms, this is the kind of game that he likes to play. This fast style where he's got harassment options left, right, all over the place. And able to use his speed to keep the macro going smoothly behind it.
Oh yeah, exactly. Third base is behind this as well. He's working on the rest of his upgrades. Was kind of feigning and kind of push earlier, didn't really commit to anything. Again, really respecting his opponent, respecting the Colossi count that's already out, as we do have 2 Colossi ready for TriGGeR. So Vindicta trying to, again, play this slow with his main army, working on it, building upon it, working on the Vikings on that later push.
It looks like he'll just make this small push out just to have a bit of map presence. He's got enough at home to defend. Just kind of trying to keep an eye on everything that's happening, and I would expect to see once that Viking count is up a little bit higher for a more committed push.
I'd expect so as well. Meanwhile, we do have that 1 drop into the natural base. Just forces some lost mining time. No major damage. Has to be careful here as the Stalkers come in. Oh god! Oh no!
Oh, and those horrible screams from the Marines going into the lava. But it opens up the route for this Banshees as well, so yeah. Another 6 probes going down, 7.
Maybe a blessing in disguise, like that 1 drop wasn't really going to deal too much damage. Obviously, it would have been better if it survived, but it did distract TriGGeR for quite some time, so the Banshees dip in, get 7 more probes, and dip out.
Yeah, and pulling this way and that way, he is going to be on top of the building force and to be able to deny that as well. And does get the cancel in time, but that's really nice for Vindicta just to know that he is in fact going for that 4th and to delay it.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of nice information there by TriGGeR. By Vindicta. Meanwhile, TriGGeR is working on a second robot for that double disruptor production. Disruptors are coming out, by the way. Very important to take note of. So Vindicta is going to have to make sure he's on top of avoiding those purification novas. Not quite working towards those liberators yet. Just still hyper-focused on Vikings and now Ghosts.
Yeah, the big balls that calls the Smoj are on the field, but Meanwhile, we have the Vikings and the Ghosts coming out from Vindicta, and this is a really nice timing that the Terran can hit with those Ghosts and the Vikings, and he's going to get another cancel on this fourth. Really nice work by Vindicta here.
Exactly. He dips in, he dips out once again. He doesn't have to commit to any kind of engagement here. Scans to confirm, okay, there are Stalkers here. I'm going to keep my Banshees at bay for the time being. They can go in whenever they want to. Bit of a Zealot run by, but there is an army here to meet him. The Zealot run by shouldn't really do much of anything.
Yeah, it's pretty well prepared for the Zealot run by. Only gets 2 SCVs there. The bunker already ready for the next one, and the mines. And we are seeing those Banshees also pinning back a little bit of the supply in the Stalkers, so that's really nice for him. And a mine drop as well.
Oh, definitely. We do have the mine drop here at the third base, but with the cannon, they don't get too much damage done. I was a little bit concerned here for these 3 medevacs, but TriGGeR does miss them. It was looking as if he was trying to intercept any kind of drop here. He's well aware of the potential of an army, but this drop still not scattered.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going to hold that drop for the moment until something else is happening on the map, and then maybe come in and try to deny this fourth. But the Banshees do finally go down, and that will free up TriGGeR a little bit more on this side of the map.
Oh, exactly. Finally, they have been cleaned up. TriGGeR, he can now focus entirely on his main army. Doesn't have to keep any supply at home any longer. Oh, so, yeah, we'll see here as both armies are looking to posture out here on the map.
Yeah, this is a serious army coming out here from TriGGeR, and we can also see with those 3 drops missing from Vindicta's army, this army that he's pushing through in the middle, probably not going to be able to take a fight with this, just kind of posturing, trying to keep track of the Protoss army, trying to make sure that he's not getting pushed into his own base, sort of just puffing up his chest here.
Exactly, he does scan, he does confirm the location of the army. The first Nova is going to be coming out.
Oh no.
Oh no, who is it?
What will happen? Oh, it's you, puppy, no!
I'm right here!
I can hear you.
I'm... What? The stream isn't lagging. Oh, God.
Yeah, the players will just restart. That Nova, fortunately, will not connect with anything at such a time, but another little hiccup. Are you there, Light?
Yeah, it looks like I am going to have to disconnect because my connection to StarCraft is gone. Yeah, I'll leave. Oh God. I'm right here.
So it looks like you've dropped out.
Yeah,
Vindicta is asking if you are alive.
Tell them to continue because clearly my connection is not holding up.
All right, so they're continuing without you. So I'll just do my best to cast. I have opened up the Discord stream for you if you want to watch along as well.
Yes.
So we have got a bit of a fight going on here. Meanwhile, the drop on the bottom left was cleaned up as well. TriGGeR doing a really good job splitting up his army. So there were 3 Colossus there waiting, and on the left he had all his Disruptors pushing back the push. So things looking a little bit dicey for Vindicta now, but if he can clean up this Disruptors on the left, that will be great for him. But we are seeing these Novas are just hitting a little bit too much, cleaning up the tanks, cleaning up the mines, and Vindicta is in a world of trouble here. Meanwhile, TriGGeR has got all his army together, so he's got the Disruptors and the Colossus all in one big ball here. Vindicta is getting his 4th up, so economically not in too bad of a position. Equal on bases with the Protoss, always pretty nice for the Terran, but yeah, pretty scary here, the army situation, and I'm not sure how he's going to defend this push when it does eventually come from TriGGeR.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Like, there's still so many Disruptors here, so many Colossi as well. We do see TriGGeR trying to force himself up here. I mean, to be fair, Vindicta does have the high ground, and he's trying to keep up with that army, but, ooh, even has a drop here towards the left. Yeah,
he's doing a good job stimming in there, just going to deny the 5th, but I really have no idea how he's going to defend this army. There's just way too much here from TriGGeR, and with these Novas zoning him out, this PF is going to go down.
Oh, yeah, exactly. There's no way for Vindicta to really try and dive on this. He does get one of those Colossi, but the Novas, oh God, they're going off.
Yeah, so all things considered, not bad here at all. And he does manage to get a little bit of damage here, denying the 5th. But at the same time, with all these Disruptors still here, it's going to be very difficult for him to clean up this army. And this does look like the end for Vindicta.
GG. I'm going to try and load back into StarCraft. I don't know what happened. I don't know why. I was dropped out like that, but I'm trying to come back.
No worries. I'll try to get them to wait up for you if I can.
Thank you.
But yeah, so a bit of a rough game there for Vindicta. The mid game did go pretty well for him, but at that moment when you dropped out and he went for that two-prong attack, both attacks being deflected so concisely, that is just a situation that can snowball so quickly in the Protoss' favor. And yeah, in the end, made it probably pretty close considering what the two different armies looked like compared to each other, but unfortunately it was not enough.
Yeah, exactly. It honestly, it was a really bad time for the latency to happen, I'll be honest. Because it was just when that big fight was about to happen. So I do apologize. I'm not too sure what it was. It isn't my internet because the stream didn't drop. I actually didn't even drop any frames. Like, like my connection to Twitch is perfectly fine. Just apparently my connection to Blizzard was cut.
We can blame Blizzard.
Yeah,
it's always Blizzard.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I just. Yeah, I'm having issues connecting to Battle.net even now. So again, I'm gonna try and restart again. I think the client still thinks I'm online. God. It's okay. Stormgate is right around the corner. It's
yeah, Stormgate won't have this problem, or at least if it does, we can just blame you. We can't blame Blizzard anymore. But this does give the players a bit of an opportunity to grab some water, so grab their breath and just kind of recompose themselves. So yeah, we are seeing the map loading in here is Berlingrad, so hopefully that's going to favor Vindicta a little bit more, having a smaller map to work with. Glittering Ashes is such like a big, wide map. It can be very difficult to deal with the Protoss once it gets to the 4-base, the 5-base stage. So hopefully we can see Vindicta get a little bit more done aggressively in the smaller map.
Yeah, exactly. I want to believe. Meanwhile, I am now back in. I'm now back. Oh, hold on. Cosmos.
Copium, that's happening with other people too.
Oh god, yes, let's go. Hold on, Quinata Blizzard. Okay. You can end your stream now. You can end your stream. It's all good.
Oh yes.
Beautiful, puppy, beautiful. Okay, so I do apologize for any kind of issues that we had, but it does seem as if, you know what, other people were experiencing it as well. God damn it, Blizzard.
Maybe it's a new patch, new maps, Copium?
Copium. Oh god, apparently Cosmos was also forced out of the game as well by the Blizzard client. Hopefully, again, clearly that means that Blizzard, they're clearly a Protoss enjoyers.
They're here.
They're here. They're watching.
The intern has logged on.
Oh no.
Alright, so with a bit of a shaky start, but managing to pull through and get ahead in this series 1-0. Spawning in the bottom right, we have the red Protoss. Playing for Team Super, it is TriGGeR.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Berlingrad LE, we have the American Terran player himself representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Vindicta.
Yeah, so honestly, the eBay block worked out quite well for him in that first game, so it would be nice to see him go for something a little bit spicy like that again, but so far just a normal opening coming out from him, and just a nice early scout coming from TriGGeR, so everything looking very standard so far.
Oh yeah, no proxies, nothing crazy like that. No kind of weird avoidance of the probe to try and get an eBay block or anything like we saw in the previous game. TriGGeR, even double checking.
Yeah, so doing his due diligence there, just making sure that that SCV isn't getting up to any nuisance, and yeah, definitely not wanting to avoid the same situation happening again, for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. Wants to get his natural at his natural. Something that I haven't experienced in a while.
That's a privilege that is reserved for Terran and Protoss players, unfortunately.
True. Not like this. Meanwhile, TriGGeR as well, being a little bit annoying, trying to lay that CC does force another SCV off the line. So again, just little bits of advantages here and there.
Yeah, I mean, both players don't really manage to delay either of each other too much. This probe just dodging that SCV, nice little weave there. But yeah, so far just super standard openings coming out from both players.
Oh yeah. Nothing crazy. Really, we're just kind of waiting for the next wave of production here to really figure out what exactly is going to be going on, what kind of styles we're going to be seeing, especially from our Terran player, because we have seen a lot of variety from Vindicta tonight, you know, whether it's going into Banshees, whether it's going for Hellion drops as well, proxy Raxes. It's been really cool to see him diversify his approach in this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely, and we are just seeing pretty standard 1-1-1 so far, getting the bunker, doing all the due diligence, staying nice and safe. Nothing too crazy so far. And at the same time, coming from the Protoss, also very standard, early Twilight, getting the Stalkers, might just be another one of these Blink openings again.
It looks to be the case. The Reaper unfortunately didn't make it into the main base, so Vindicta is going to be in the dark for a little bit. Of course, this is kind of what we expect to see, but, you know, Vindicta, I'm sure, wants to make sure that there is no kind of weird Stargate opener or anything like that.
Yeah, for sure, and manages to avoid the harass from this Adept without losing too much mining time, without losing any SCVs, so no one taking too much of an advantage so far.
Yeah, as once again, Vindicta, he's opening up with some Widow Mines, so looking to go for another one of those drops. We saw in the previous game, he went for a double Widow Mine drop. We'll see if he goes for a little bit more this time, as Reaper does somehow get past all those Stalkers, slips into the main base, confirms it is a Twilight Council.
Yeah, manages to get in, gets the Scout, just looks like a pretty standard macro opening, bit of a 2-gate coming out here, so nothing too crazy, and he'll know that he's okay to just proceed with his plan.
Exactly. Meanwhile, we do see the Adepts. It hasn't been able to get any probe kills, any worker kills, but because of the threat of the Adepts, we do have a lot of SCVs on Smoko here in the main base. Get to work! To now get to the natural, and yeah. I mean, so far, Vindicta's done a really good job at just keeping TriGGeR outside of his main base, keeping him in the dark, but
Oh, and that one yellow SCV that was taking a bit of extra Smoko does go down, unfortunately, but the Adept will be shoot away once again. This Adept has been a real nuisance. These little things can kind of add up mentally, so glad he got that one back.
Oh, but that dopamine hit to kill the Adepts. There we go. It's all
yeah,
good.
We're sorted. The mental game is 1-1.
The mental is saved. Speaking of, we do have a little bit of a Widowmine drop headed towards the natural base as well, sneaking out the outskirts of the map, but TriGGeR is getting ready here at the natural as well, so Vindicta has to be a little bit careful with when he decides to go in, especially because he's actually going for a Liberator as well.
Yeah, so this is an old style, this 3cc build. I think it was actually one of Euthermal's first ever Terran schools, so I'm quite familiar with this build myself. He will be looking to go for a 3-prong attack, so this mine drop is just going to chill here and pin back some Stalkers. He actually wants TriGGeR to see this mine drop so that he keeps his Stalkers back, and he can get more damage with this tank push that's coming in from the front. Meanwhile, while those 2 prongs are happening, the Liberator will slip into the main, so pretty nice set play coming out here from Vindicta.
Yeah, we'll see if TriGGeR can defend against this. Meanwhile, his Observer did scout the main army pushing out across the map. We do see him even catching a couple of reinforcements with his Stalker, slowing this down. Gonna try and force a siege. He will be able to slow this down. But as you were saying, there are other ways to deal damage.
Yeah, so we see this Lib coming in from the main. We see the Stalkers pinned back in the natural at the right. And suddenly there's only 4 Stalkers here to protect from the tank push. And this Lib already getting damaged. This is going perfectly for Vindicta so far.
Yeah, exactly. Tanks are shelling away at these Stalkers as well. The Marines have to be a little bit careful. They're getting very low. The Zealots are getting on top of them as well. We have the Blink on board, and it looks like TriGGeR is going to be able to try and clean this up.
Yeah, we can see it can be a bit of a difficult situation. Oh, and very nice cleanup there, but 9 probes going down, not bad at all, especially with a 3rd CC coming here. As long as Vindicta can be safe from the counterattack, the idea of this opening is you actually, with that economic advantage with the early 3rd CC, aren't too far behind even if you don't get much damage.
Yeah, we'll see if it was worth it in the end. I mean, thankfully, as you were saying, he's going to have his economy to fall back on. It's not going to be that hindered. It was really the Liberator was kind of carrying that push, dealing as much damage as possible. But I'm a little bit concerned because, you know, now we have Disruptors. You know, the first one coming out, yo, he wants to get a cheeky Nova off.
Oh no, that's a huge shot. And this is suddenly becoming a very scary moment for Vindicta. This is one of the weaknesses of this build. You do have this opening here where Stim still a little ways off. You're trying to take your 3rd, you have very few units, and the Observer sees everything as well, so TriGGeR's going to know that he has quite an opening here if he wants to take it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh my god, this Disruptor has done so well so far for TriGGeR, not just cleaning up those Widow Mines earlier, but also cleaning up a lot of those Marines. And now these tanks are looking that much more exposed.
Yeah, here comes that push. The Zealots are going to really force Vindicta's hand. Bit of a checkmate move here because he has to commit supply to defend that. Meanwhile, these tanks get cleaned up and this is a disaster and Vindicta leaves the game.
GG gets called. TriGGeR, he again just defended beautifully against the initial push. It was really interesting to see how he used the Disruptor as well. He had no support for it, he had no War Prism, he was just hoping to get just a miracle Nova off, and he did, and that all just culminated in that initial that final push there in the end.
Yeah, a bit of an unorthodox way to deal with the Mine Drop there using the Disruptor, but manages to do just enough on each of the 3 prongs, and with that Disruptor shot that he gets again later across the map, just sees the opening and jumps on it, and yeah, just finds the one weak point of the build, and pretty sad to see Vindicta go down that way.
Yeah. GG, well played, Puppy. I hope he's okay. I know he's streaming his POV right now, and I know he has been streaming his run. And hey, like overall, he performed well. Even in his series against Scarlet, there were moments of brilliance. Like, you know, there were moments where we could definitely praise him in that TVZ. But this was a stacked bracket. This was a rough bracket to go through. Oh my god! And what just happened? We got another update.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Wow.
How?
So it looks like Nina 2-0'd Scarlet, and quite quickly too.
Oh my god, that was a series that started after ours. But everyone exclamation mark be in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket. Nina 2-0'd Scarlet.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of an upset there, and I'd definitely be interested to know what happened in those games because they were, as you referred to, very quick games. So maybe the same kind of crazy aggression that we saw out of Australia in Game 2 managed to pick up Nina the wins there, but that's very impressive result though.
Very impressive, and with that, the final Zerg player has been eliminated from the qualifier, the final Terran player has been eliminated from the qualifier, and the only players left are Protoss.
NA region living up to its reputation of being a Protoss region.
It's just nothing but Protoss, papi.
Yeah, so, you know, a little bit sad there to not see that much of the different racial representation, but, you know, props to the players, like Nina getting a 2-0 from over Scarlet. That's a really impressive result. Like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
It really is. It really is. That's a massive scalp there for Nina. Insane result. Of course, I'm a little bit biased as a Zerg player, but you know, at the end of the day, the better player on the day did come out on top. Very impressive by Nina, and now we are in a situation that I didn't think we would be in. You know, when I think of the NA region, I think Neeb, Australia, Scarlet. You know, and now Scarlet's not there anymore, and now when it comes to PvPs, it's all up in the air. Like anyone can make it out.
Yeah, I mean, like you're saying, like PvP can be a very volatile matchup. So, coming up with this match between TriGGeR and Nina, honestly, this could go either way.
Yeah, it really could. Oh my god. we'll see which way it does go. That is going to be our next series here on stream. It is going to be Nina versus TriGGeR, and we'll see. We'll see how this goes in the end. Oh my god. Just very unexpected here, very unexpected. You know, there have been a lot of memes about North America and it being very Protoss heavy. I mean, Europe is Protoss heavy as well, to be fair. But they're coming out strong today.
Yeah, for sure. And condolences to the losing players, definitely. Yeah, really sad to see the CranKy Ducklings Vindicta going down like that. But it should be a pretty exciting PvP coming up. I know that both these players have some pretty like stylistic approaches to PvP as well, so it should be fireworks, I think.
Oh yeah, it really should.